Welcome to another installment of Breaking the Audio Rules. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Today, we're checking out a common rule, which is that you never put a buffered pedal in front of a fuzz box. Now, there actually are good reasons for this rule. The deal is that a fuzz box is a very simple device. Many of them just have a couple of components. But the way they operate is they have an extremely low input impedance. And that causes them to load down the pickups from the guitar and helps them to achieve their characteristic vintage fuzz sound. When you put a buffer in front of that pedal, the buffer isolates the pickups from that low impedance. The pickups actually like to see a super high impedance, like 1 mega ohm, something like that. So a buffered pedal, the idea is that the input impedance is very high so that it doesn't load the guitar's pickups. You get a nice, bright, sparkling, clean tone. But the output impedance on a buffered pedal is very low, and this allows it to drive the rest of your signal path very easily. With a vintage fuzz, if you use a buffered pedal in front of it, you've got a very low impedance on the output of the buffered pedal, feeding a very low impedance on the input of the fuzz pedal, and that doesn't work near as well. It changes the tone of the fuzz box. So the question is, does it really matter? Can you hear the difference? Is it a big deal? Should you avoid it or not? Let's check it out. I've got a Smiley here. Now, this is a vintage style fuzz from JHS pedals. Sounds fantastic. Great sounding fuzz. Now let's see what happens when we connect a buffered pedal in front of that Smiley pedal. That's a very different sound than what we had when the guitar was connected straight into the fuzz pedal. First thing I noticed is the noise floor actually came up. We're hearing a lot more hiss out of the amplifier than I was hearing before. But the second thing is, even with this pedal bypassed, it's just feeding through the pedal, but of course it's going through that buffer. It's changing the sound. We're getting a weaker sound out of the fuzz pedal. It's a little harsher sound. It's sort of blatty. It just doesn't respond the same way. And in fact, you could hear when I'm going from fret to fret, it's almost spitting as it tries to adjust to the different notes. Very different sound from the smooth, fat, rich tone we were getting when we plugged straight in. And it's all because of that impedance loading that happens when the fuzz is connected to the guitar. So can you put a buffer in front of a vintage fuzz? Of course you can. It's not going to hurt anything. You're not going to blow up your rig. You're not going to damage anything, but it's very likely that the sound will change. So what we've seen here today is that for best results with a vintage style fuzz pedal, it's best to put that first in your chain. Now, buffers can be found in everything from pedals. This is a Boss pedal, but any buffered pedal is going to be the same. You also can have buffers in tuners. Some pedal boards have built-in buffers. Some wireless receivers have buffers in them. Some of them can adjust the impedance, but you want to watch out for those hidden buffers in things like wireless receivers that may affect what's happening with your fuzz boxes. Now, more modern fuzzes, the circuits have been changed, the components have been changed, they're doing things a little differently, so you may not have that same interaction with a buffer. But if you're using a vintage style, very straight ahead, simple fuzz, like this Smiley, which is a recreation of a 1969 fuzz box, you're going to have some interaction when you use a buffer in front of that pedal. So in this case, don't break the audio rules. Does kind of hold up, doesn't it? Because we are hearing a pretty dramatic change in the tone when we put that buffer in front of the fuzz box. Put the fuzz box first in your chain, you'll get the best results. Thanks for watching this installment of Breaking the Audio Rules. In this case, hey, don't break the audio rule. Plug straight into your fuzz box. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater.